Mikkal, thank you so much for your time. Good to see you, man. Welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like this last couple of weeks has just been pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it a crazy feeling to, have something that was between, you, your cast, your family, your friends, and now it's out in the world? Like, are you kind of getting used to that a little bit now? Like that it's in your hands and now it's out of your hands?
It's kind of hard to get used to it. I'll admit there's a lot it's really crazy, but I'm really fortunate to have the opportunity to have been in the show, and I'm forever grateful about all the opportunities it's bringing me.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's pretty crazy though.
Absolutely. I do know that the process to, film this was quite a bit in terms of when you audition for this and then when we're kind of seeing it. Did you audition for Teddy Uris? Like, and when was that kind of audition process for you?
Right, right. So at first I actually got an audition for Phil, the character who plays Teddy Uris's best friend. And I put the audition out, and it was quite a while before I got an answer back. I think about 5 weeks. So by then I had sort of given up hope on the role. And then we got a call back asking me to read for Teddy. So after I put that audition out, there was a lot of radio silence. And then I got the email confirming that I got the role, and I was super thrilled, super excited. And shortly after that, I think about 3 weeks after that, we started filming. So super, super thrilled.
Can you take me back to that first week of filming it Welcome to Derry? Like that first week, because the first couple of days it depends, right? There might be like rehearsals. It's not really the big experience, but that first week, right? Like of
Mhm.
kind of diving into Teddy Uris, diving into Derry, that new hairstyle, right? Like what was that
Yeah.
like that first week of being part of that universe?
It was really great. I was a little nervous on the very first day when we were going to studio, but thankfully, my fellow castmates and especially Andy were super friendly and welcoming, and I sort of felt like I could just fit right in and put out some good work. So there was a lot of weight off my shoulders in terms of I really didn't feel like anybody was judging me or sort of pressuring me.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of weight off my shoulders there, and almost immediately it was a very natural environment to start acting in, and I feel like I could put out some really good material.
Yeah.
And it was sort of just it was very crazy, very fast paced that first week.
Hmm.
We were doing everything you can imagine. We were doing sort of what's it called? Hair appointments to
Yeah.
like decide what hairstyle to
Yeah.
pick, a lot of makeup appointments, a lot of photography. And then we actually took a day to do bike rehearsals.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of scenes where we have to ride bikes.
Yeah.
So we had to do biking rehearsals just to make sure everyone knew how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that first week was super crazy, super busy, and really, really fun.
No, absolutely. And it's interesting, right? Because, you film this show and you might be kind of privy to, your character's backstories and certain ties and certain Easter eggs, but you might not, right? You might just kind of do your thing and then on your own kind of figure it out, right? When the fans and everything. Were there any
Mhm.
conversations with Andy about like the possibility of like these characters being associated with like the original source material, or is that something that was just kind of not mentioned as much?
Yeah. So Andy, actually, one of the first things that I was talking with Andy about is the fact that Teddy Uris is Stan Uris's uncle from the first movie. His brother, who we see in one of the scenes, two of the scenes actually, goes on to become Stanley Uris's dad.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first things that we talked about with
Okay.
Andy. And it was, yeah, it was actually pretty interesting because I remember I watched the movies before I went on to set, and I saw like Eurus. Interesting. That's like the same last name as my character. And I was thinking, is there some sort of family relationship there? Is there something going on there? Andy actually said it pretty immediately, which
No.
was really
Yeah.
interesting to find
You
out.
never know because it's like everything. I mean, the amount of theories that have been thrown out, Mikhail, about this show. I mean,
Yeah.
like, so quick, right? Like we're only like
Mhm.
2 episodes in, and like it's like hundreds of theories on the
Yeah.
internet about
Yeah.
characters. This person is this.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy to think, but then it's like, ah, yes, this makes sense. The last name, so it's like this is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I kind of wanted to also know. I mean, there's certain scenes that we're going to talk about. I mean, we are going to talk about that movie theater scene.
Mhm.
Dude, that scene was nuts. Like, I definitely have questions about that. But a lot of the scenes that Teddy and Phil have, right, when they're kind of like like at school and at Phil's in Phil's room, right, and then like the library. These are all like different scenes, right? And I know it's all
Mhm.
part of like one show, and you're going to work as Teddy Uris, same hairstyle, same character. But like, were there ever moments, Mikkal, where it felt like shooting different little mini projects, mini movies? Because I feel like a lot of the scenes you got to film for that
Mhm.
episode were very different, if that makes sense. And then like the dinner
Yeah.
scenes and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, every scene had a very different vibe and very different feel to it. And not only was it in terms of feeling, there was also a lot of different technical stuff that had to be set up and sort of different techniques that they used to film. I think the biggest example was the library.
Yeah.
Um, the library scene, there was a lot of really interesting stuff that they used to film with the newspaper device. They had the cameras in there, which was cool. They had to like cut out a hole in the table and everything.
Mhm.
And yeah, each scene has really great production value and everything is so thought out and like well measured. So
Mhm.
it was really fun to work because yeah, every single scene felt a little bit different in the way that they filmed it.
Absolutely. Now that the episode one is out, the ending of episode one, how does it feel being able to kind of like how does it feel now to like it's okay to kind of talk about it? You know what I mean? How is that like for you?
It's a bit of a weight off my chest. Because all my friends, a bunch of people at school, they were all, asking what happens to my character and all that. And I've always, I just had to say for months and months and months, like, oh, I can't tell you, none of that. But I
Mhm,
know it's like such a big surprise, and I was really excited for everyone to see that.
mhm,
So I'm glad that it's out now so that I can see people's reactions
mhm.
and yeah, see people's opinions on the scene.
Speaking to Clara, speaking to Jack, and speaking to Matilda about that scene because it's very
Mhm.
interesting. It's terrifying for the audience member, right, with this like
Yeah.
mutant baby, right? But they said it was a lot of fun to film and it wasn't scary at all. Is that the same for you as well?
Definitely. It was probably my favorite scene to film because there was a lot of, again, like really interesting techniques and stuff that they used, but also it was just really fun to film. It's not often that as a actor, or as a character, you get to act so scared and so freaked out over something so wild and crazy and out there. So it was really fun to film. And yeah, it was kind of silly to film at times too.
I'm wondering if you ever had conversations with Andy about this, with your cast about this, because I feel like every time someone is cast in something that is like a spin-off or a sequel or something that has to do with original source material, I feel like they're always in a unique casting situation because
Mm.
we know what's going on, but at the same time we don't know what's going on. There's familiar territory and unfamiliar territory, right? Like we know
Mhm.
that your character has ties to other characters from the It films, right? But like we've never seen your character before. Do you think about
Yeah.
that at all? That you're in a unique casting situation? Like it's interesting to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely super fortunate because not only were they looking for acting skill, but there was also looks and like sort of similarities. And I'm really fortunate that Andy actually saw me and saw my tape and decided that's the one. That's the kid that we're gonna use.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm forever grateful that I had that opportunity, especially knowing the chances.
hmm and being part of this kind of world that is like the scale of this world is big, right?
Hmm.
What were some kind of, and maybe it's like, what were some like things that you did, like prep wise, mindset wise, to maybe not think about the scope and the scale of this project, right? Like you did,
Hmm.
because you did an amazing job in this, by the way, Mikhail. Like you're a great
Thank
actor, a
you.
great storyteller. But like, what was that like for you? Just kind of say, like, kind of like blocking that out a little bit, blocking the Welcome to Derry It universe, and just being like, I'm playing Teddy Uris. Like, what was that like for you?
I had to really sort of put myself into the shoes of Teddy Uris. I think a few scenes, especially the dinner table scene,
Yeah.
I just had to sort of manifest and relate back to my life as Mikkal Karim-Fidler
Yep.
and just sort of, yeah, put my personal self into Teddy Uris's shoes
Mhm.
and just sort of put my head down and work.
Absolutely. It's interesting also to think about the fact that, you know, um, the timing of everything, episodes rolling out around kind of the end of spooky season, people are going to see new episodes and everything. I also wanted to kind of know from you as well, like being in this kind of like time where you're like there's two things, right? You're working on something in kind of the horror movie spooky genre, but you're also
Hmm.
working on something in the Stephen King Welcome to Derry universe, right? That's
Hmm.
two different things, right? Like it's one thing to like for you to book a horror movie, right? And then it's another thing to work on like a big franchise, a big universe, right? So with this project, you're dealing with both those things. So I want to
Hmm.
know like what you think about that. And do you separate those two things? It's all one big kind of big fun journey where you're part of big horror movie world right now and like you're part of a big kind of franchise because they are two different things. So I'm curious if you thought about that at all.
Yeah. I thought about it a lot after filming.
Okay.
But during the time on set, I was sort of just focused on the storyline and especially the individual storyline of the scene and what I
Mhm.
needed to portray. But after I was done filming, I sort of thought to myself, it's crazy how my character of Teddy Uris is sort of in this universe that's connected to all these other pieces of media by Stephen King. And I was sort of thrilled about that. I was really, really excited.
No, absolutely. And then last questions for
Hmm.
you, Mikkal. Learning experiences, right? Whether people have been on a set one time or thousands of times, there's always going to be learning experiences. I kind of want to know because in the beginning of the interview, you kind of talked about the fact that every scene had a different vibe, every scene had a different tone. That there was different things like there was a lot of bike riding, right? Like the physical component. What were some learning experiences that on the top of your head from an acting storyteller perspective from It Welcome to Derry that you're excited to bring to a future project, a future journey?
Definitely I learned how to portray fear better than I did before.
Mhm.
I learned how to portray a lot of emotion better than I did before, which was really nice. I was super fortunate to be able to work with Ben Perkins. He's an amazing coach, and as well as my castmates, and I could sort of learn off them and feed off their energy a little bit as they did mine. And I feel like I learned a lot and became definitely a better actor, better storyteller. And yeah, it was a great experience in terms of learning.
And again, man, congratulations on everything. And Mikhail, great performance, man. Seriously, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, episodes of It Welcome to Derry rolling out on HBO Max. And they could check that out. Mikhail, so great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative, previous episodes. There might be some other cool things, right, Mikhail, to look out for, right?
Hopefully, hopefully. You'll just have to watch the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been PopTurd, youtube.com/PopTurd. Previous episodes. Until next time, this is Mikkal Karim-Fidler and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.